I'm writer Mark Wooden, coming to you recorded from my bedroom, which you can tell by the white wall behind me. Welcome to Fantasy Island. I'm just playing. Seriously, though, welcome to another episode of Thoughts from the Shed. The Wooden Shed. Wooden Shed Creative. Right here. Wooden Shed Creative. That's me. Well, hello. Here we are, getting ready to slide out of 2021 and into 2022. But before we do, I just wanted to thank all of you, the people, for tuning in to me for these 6 episodes. This now the 7th episode of my podcast, my first foray into this kind of thing. It means a lot to me that you would tune in to a total stranger who is trying to convince you that a movie about a woman who has sex with a car is worth your time. And if you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, you need to go back and tune into episode 3, where I talk about the new French extremity movies. I'll wait. Actually, I won't. When you're done with this video, go check that one out. It's got a lot of other great stuff in it. Again, thank you all, be it subscribing to YouTube, any of the other podcasts out there, the Spotify, the Apple Podcast, Spreaker, a couple other ones. Really do appreciate you tuning in, subscribing, getting the bell ring, all that good stuff. Thank you. Now, people have said that 2021 was a far superior year to 2020. And looking at the back half of the year, yeah, I would tend to agree with them, because at least in my case, my AV work came back so I could actually make a living. Although we do have to wear masks and pretty much everybody is requiring you to get vaccinated, which I'm okay with, because look at me. Sexy bald head, lots of blubber around here. I'm black. Surprise. And surprise number 2, I have high blood pressure, which means if I get this COVID stuff, I'm probably a dead man. So masks, vaccines, I'm cool with it. You should be cool with it too. Go get your shot. It's not about you. It's about the rest of the community too. Get your shot. Unfortunately, the front half of 2021, at least for me, sucked big donkey balls. I unfortunately lost my dad, Anthony Jerome Wooden. Now, it wasn't COVID or anything like that. It was an aneurysm. He literally was having a conversation and then that was it. So it was sudden, we were unprepared, all that kind of stuff. Now, how cool was my dad? Well, picture it. 1988. I had halfway mentioned that I saw this MTV ad for some animated movie, and I was big into the anime thing back then, but I didn't think anything of it because I didn't think it was coming anywhere near us. A couple days later, Dad takes me to get the old haircut. You know, the tradition of the black male. Saturday morning, get the haircuts. We're driving home, or at least I think we're driving home, but I realize, no, we're not driving home. Where are we going? Dad tells me he looked up, and back then, we didn't have that whole internet thing, so he had to actually look it up, that anime I wanted to see was in town, and he was taking me to see it as a surprise. That's how I got to see the legendary Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira in theaters, thanks to my dad. Now, he didn't understand a damn thing that happened in that movie, and to be honest, I didn't really either. I just know I loved it, and I got to bond with my dad over that moment. It's something that I will always cherish, and why that movie holds such high regard in my heart, besides the fact it's a freaking awesome movie. Y'all need to see it if you haven't already. But yeah, that was the beginning of my 2021. Now, it sucks that I waited this long to start this podcast, because Dad isn't here to see it blossom and see me actually get off my ass and pursue my dream of not only being able to relate to all of you the information that I've learned trying to do this whole writing thing, but to see me push ahead and work those books and follow that dream to get my stories out there. But I'm content that he would be happy that I finally got off my ass to do this. So here we are. Now, think back way to that first episode where I introduced myself. I'd said I was hoping that through this podcast, all of you will get to know me a little bit better and come to like and be entertained by, and most importantly, informed by the things I present to you. Hopefully, that's rung true through these 6 episodes. If not, shut your pie hole. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. My ego can't take it. Shut your pie hole. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Constructive criticism is always good and it's appreciated. So if there's something you would like to see or something that you don't like that I do, please in the comments below or over on the Mark Wooden website, writermarkwooden.com/shadowdancesaga.com. 2 names, 1 place. Don't forget. Please make a note. Let me know what you think. If it's not a constructive criticism, shut your pie hole. We don't need that negativity in this world. Since that intro episode, I've taken some movies and explained to you the techniques that make them work, make them don't work, and analyze them in the sense of how you, the creative types, can use those techniques in your stories. Now, between the horror episode and the Die Hard episode, I expect all you creators out there to be able to sit down and write the next great Christmas horror movie. Because, I mean, come on, the techniques are there. Just apply them, use them. There's a Black Christmas or a Krampus in all of you. Now, the one thing I wish I'd done more of was use some more eclectic movies. I mean, everybody's heard of Die Hard, The Exorcist, Psycho, Aliens. Though, funny story, I was thinking about it. Movies like Psycho, what is that, 60 years old almost? And even the Star Wars movies are almost 40, over 40 years old. So to some of you millennial whippersnappers on here, those may be eclectic classics for all I know. So hey, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But I do want to bring you more off the radar movies like the new French Extremity movies to your attention. So that way you can get not just the typical everyday Hollywood classic movie, but you can get some of the other ones so you can see how that classical Hollywood system can be subverted and therefore figure out techniques how you can subvert the system and come up with the next new French Extremity or revolutionize the action genre like the Bourne Identity movies did, which led into shows like 24. But at the very least, I hope you know who John Woo and Akira Kurosawa are now. If that's the 2 things that you've learned from these 6 episodes, happy man, right here. One of the things I want to do next year is I do want to branch out from just movies. I want to try to sneak some TV shows because, for example, I got to talk to you guys about Midnight Mass. And even though it was actually pretty crappy, though I enjoyed it, I'd also like to have a discussion about why the Netflix Cowboy Bebop live action didn't work as well as we'd all hoped it would have. But then again, it's Netflix and live action anime, so they don't have a great track record. I don't know why I got my hopes up, but hey, you can learn from even train wrecks what not to do to help improve your creativity. And yeah, I know I'm a guy who writes books. I'm a guy who writes novel-style fan fiction. So why am I looking at movies and TV shows mostly to learn how to write? Well, you can learn storytelling techniques from everywhere and anywhere. I mean, you can play a video game. There's story there. There's story in the queue lines that lead you to the rides when you go to the amusement park. You can learn techniques of how to capture that audience from everywhere. I just personally like to do it from movies and TV shows. And maybe I'll even occasionally throw in there how music can help influence not only what you're writing, but enhance what you're writing. Even though technically with the novel, you can't use music. Or can you? We'll look into that next year. Try to anyway, too. Another thing I want to do next year is I want to go back to the original intent of keeping things pequeño. I got a little long-winded on some of those episodes, ended up 30 minutes later. Now, there were lots of good content in there, but in hindsight, I'm like, if you wanted to keep it pequeño, I could have gone ahead and trimmed them up into about 10-minute segments and then maybe released them as, weekly as opposed to just the one big episode for that month. Because like I said, a lot of good content, but pequeño, easy to digest, keep it in mind. I'm trying to make this fun, not a schoolhouse lecture, but like I said, lots of good content. I just went with it, but I'm going to try to pull it back to those 15 minutes. If it means I have to have 3 episodes of the month every Wednesday, maybe that's the way we'll go. We'll see when we hit next year. Besides, I told y'all at the beginning of this, I'm a hack. This is my first time. I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out. Now I've got 6 episodes under my belt. I got a better handle on it. Pequeño, go, pequeño, which does not mean what I think it means, but you know what I'm talking about. And don't you think I forgot about the Shadow Dance action urban fantasy saga. Oh no. My plan is to get my butt in the seat and continue editing my first book, Two Sisters, in the new Shadow Dance trilogy, which is called... I gotta leave something back. But the goal is to get Two Sisters edited, good, ready to go, work on the other 2 books, rebranding, revising those, and have all that stuff ready for an late October, early November release, just in time for Christmas, to give it to you so you can give it to friends and family and people you hate. I don't care. Just get it out there. Please, please get the bad boy out there. I'll give you updates on that as we go. Now, the reason why I hadn't been working on Two Sisters, to be honest, is that's what I was working on the day my father passed. And every time I opened that file up and saw that date, I was kind of like, no. But 2 things. 1, Dad wouldn't want me to stop following my dream. And 2, God dang, is this a good story? Oh, you guys are going to love it. I can't wait to share it with you. And there's new covers that I have that I can't wait to share. But all of this in due time, coming in 2022. And if you want to know more about the Shadow Dance saga, just go on over to writermarkwooden.com and look up Mark's Fiction. You'll see character logos and character designs. All of that stuff's out there so you can learn about the organizations and the characters within the saga. And also, if you go back to episode 5, I have a whole thing about how the Shadow Dance came about, how it developed, and where I intend for it to go. With this, of course, being an update to that. Link down below. So, as we kick 2021 in the ass and get ready to go into 2022, which will hopefully be a much better year for all of us. I mean, we can't really go much lower, can we? God in heaven, please help us. Save us, Batman. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I again want to thank all of you for tuning in on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcast or Spreaker, or even coming on over to writermarkwooden.com and checking out the podcast, letting me talk to you to give you ideas that hopefully will inspire you and help you understand creativity and use that understanding and the techniques I've tried to show you in your works so that you too can do something like this in front of a white wall and give us great works of art that only you can bring to us. So that's all for now. To my friends in snow-covered areas, don't eat the yellow snow. Trust me. For everyone else, have a happy rest of the holiday season, and we'll see you again next year. Which I found out is going to be sooner than I thought, because December had 3 Wednesdays, and the first Wednesday of the month is next week, so I lose out on my extra buffer week, so I'm going to have an episode ready for you next week, and by golly, I will. See you then. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. writermarkwooden.com, shadowdancesaga.com.